In the light of my previous video, I've decided that I'm going to do something positive this video. So here it is, the main things that I really like about One Piece. I know I rip on One Piece quite a lot, so people have this weird idea that I hated it, so I'd like to clarify, I never hated One Piece. What I do hate are certain parts of the fandom that think that this is a reasonable recommendation for someone who wants to get into anime. It is not. It is way too long for any kind of get into anything, and the One Piece fandom, which you pretty much have to be signing on to joining in order to actually watch all of it, is not necessarily the same thing as the anime fandom. The vast majority of people who are looking for a good anime are usually looking for something that is a good story with a start and finish that they could consume and get a feel for what is inside of the anime medium. One Piece is an incredibly stylized subset of it, and not at all representative of what the majority of anime looks like. And if you think that it is, then, well, you're wrong. Look at more anime. You're just fucking wrong. Not to mention, anytime you provide any kind of criticism for it, or dare to say that you don't like it without having watched all 1,000+ episodes, I hate how some of the fandom will seem to ooze out of the floorboards like the fucking Terminator to debate you on it. So I don't necessarily hate One Piece. I still think that it's an overly long, unfocused MacGuffin hunt, whose main character's progression has had so many redundant arcs it's starting to resemble the Euthanasia Coaster. For those who don't know, the Euthanasia Coaster was a roller coaster design that was specifically mapped out to humanely kill all the occupants through extended G-forces. Which sounds rather unpleasant, but apparently it would just starve your brain of oxygen and the death itself would be rather calm. Which I suppose is a better way to go than the people on the River Rapid ride whose raft flipped over and dumped them into the mechanisms of the machine, which is a fate apparently so graphic that apparently it can be described as sustaining, quote, injuries that are incompatible with living. So I guess there's worse ways to go. What were we talking about? Oh, right, One Piece. First of all, what I really love about it is that it knows damn well what it is. It is the adventure of Quirky McQuirk crew chasing a MacGuffin and overthrowing every government they touch in the process. It doesn't pretend the MacGuffin is getting any closer. It's not flirting with a build-up to fight God, but you know, in a I wanted to max charisma but my base stats are so good kind of way. It's not a central antagonist that we pursue to the end of realities and get distracted, you know, 3 to 40 times. Then staple every type of group onto our main character, up to and including Soul Reapers, Quincy's, Bringers, Visors, dance therapy instructors, and the fucking Illuminati, cause why not? He's everything else at this point. It stands by what it is and never pretends to be something else. You are here to watch something over the top and actiony, and it is going to scream that as loud as it can to the heavens. Things will be large, they will be epic, and they will be massively exaggerated in every way possible. And if you watch so much as 10 episodes and haven't figured that out already, then you had your eyes closed or something. I don't fucking know. There's something wrong with you. Secondly, it knows how to get people emotionally invested. It is a shonen, so they have characters live through a bit more than they probably should, but the creator knows the importance of strife, aka your story needs it. So showing pain or frustration over losses, betrayals, and deaths is important. This can cause the tone to vary wildly throughout. But adventure is supposed to vary, just like how Avatar did. Though Avatar was a looming great threat adventure, while this has much less urgency on its destination. If Aang, yes Aang, not Aang, solved the issue quickly, lots of people would live and a madman wouldn't conquer the world. If Luffy found the treasure quickly, then the world might have a standing hierarchical system that hasn't been elasto-fisted. The point is that there's no real rush towards the end goal because there's nothing looming overhead that will go wrong if Luffy isn't there, say, tomorrow versus 6 months from now. And with all of this time, they are allowed to play on emotions very deeply throughout the series. Because there is no looming overarching threat, they can spend as much time as they want on any one particular storyline without that little problem in the back of your mind saying, yo, weren't we supposed to be doing something? Every time you see them wasting time, you think, well, they'll get back on the trail later. Anytime you see Captain Marvel wasting time, you think, weren't you just talking about how you had had to fucking hurry? All of the things in One Piece are self-contained. All of the stories are just around themselves. Any urgency applied to the story happens per encounter basis. And while there is always the thought that there might be someone else out there who is looking for the treasure, who might try to find it first, with no actual measurable distance as to where the treasure is, there is no actual urgency to get there because anyone could be sitting on top of it or 20 million miles away from it. You have no real way of knowing, so there's no tension on that level. Plain and simple, the story is perfectly willing to venture off and have fun, which gets us to the third and one of the most important things, animation. Someone once told the creator of this series that animation and fictional 2D drawing allows you to explore any level of creativity that you ever want, and he took that ball and fucking ran with it. He ran like the Flash with it. He went from one end of the football field to the other, out the door, down the street, got on an airplane, went to NASA, got on a rocket, and went to fucking Pluto. This series is pure caricature whimsy. Everything is so exaggerated in every aspect of animation. He allows stretching and deformity on levels that you just could never have on more realistic media. Hell, even more realistic animation would look strange and almost horrific with the kind of bodies that he uses in this show or manga. He absolutely goes nuts with this world. All of the evil villains have exaggerated evil looks to them. All of the silly people are just outrageously silly. And all of the heroes are relatably scruffy or gruff in their own respective ways. Every single character is so characterized by just how they're drawn, it's ridiculous. The world of One Piece is about as close as you can get to a Looney Tune while still being serious at times. And that freedom for them to express whatever type of character they might ever want in that animation is exactly why the Netflix adaptation is never going to look okay. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. It doesn't matter how much effort or passion you put into it. The barrier between reality and fiction is impassable on this one. The uncanny valley where you reach so close to reality, but you fall short. That is the barrier between fictitious depiction and reality. You can be on one side of it or the other, but you cannot be on both or you end up in the uncanny valley. So there you go, some things that I like about One Piece. It's an honest show, it puts effort into its emotion, and it puts a fuck ton of effort into real, massive, impactful animation. The fights in it are epic on a true scale of epic. A little bit hard for me as an outsider to understand exactly who's winning or losing because I don't have much in the way of understanding of the limits of anyone's powers, but I can appreciate a large destructive battle. As for the moral of this video that you should take away from it, well, you heard what I said about Netflix's adaptation. You know, the one that's doomed to fail? Let me summarize. The moral of this video: amusement parks aren't anywhere near as safe as you thought they were. In fact, nothing is safe. You should hide under your bed for the rest of your life, experiencing the world solely through your phone. At least then you'd have time to catch up on One Piece. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. And I'd really like to know, do I have any One Piece fans in my subscribers? What's your favorite parts of One Piece? Or conversely, if you think it is hypocritical of me to list a bunch of things that I like about something that as a whole I have stated very clearly I do not, this would require you to completely ignore the fact that you can like things or find good pieces of writing inside of an overall media that you did not like or was objectively poorly written. If this is the case for you and you can't understand that both of these things can be true at the same time, then feel free to go down to the comments and at the very least, be entertainingly angry.